talents God gave you to represent your culture and to impact the world? I'm Olena Gyose reporting live from VMP Studios. Tonight we have a very special guest with us, Mr. Kelechi Eke. Welcome, Mr. Eke.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Eke is actually a Nigerian who came to the United States to pursue higher education. And he holds bachelor's in computer information systems and master's in IT. However, in 2011, he started a filmmaking company, Bigobi Productions. So, Mr. Eke, you are an IT person. What made you get into filmmaking?
Well, the passion about filmmaking really came from the many issues we face as immigrants in the diaspora. So I used to get involved in a lot of debates online in different email forums. And at a point, just say, you know what, it's time to just sit down and write a story about some of these topics and make it into motion pictures and, preserve some of these real situations that we face.
Good. So your first film, Lost and Abroad, actually made it to the libraries of some Ivy League schools.
That's
so
right.
Can you tell us about that?
Oh, definitely. Lost and Abroad is a very sensitive topic to many immigrants. As you can imagine, be it Africans, Europeans that are here in the States for one reason or the other. A lot of us came to study here with intentions to go back home. And in the end, we just settled here for one reason or the other. And for most of us, really the opportunities that we have here, and sometimes the security of being here in the States, keep us here. And then gradually we begin to have a sense of loss of our culture. We are having kids here now abroad, and a lot of them cannot understand our language. So Lost and Abroad really captured all these issues, which is why I did very well. In one of the premieres that I took it in different cities, a faculty member from one of these big schools actually was there. And after the movie, they thought it would be a good material for their African Studies program. And that's how today it's at the University of Wisconsin, it's at Harvard, Yale, Stanford, Northwestern, Iowa University, some big name schools. I'm very honored. It's a unique story that applies to all of us immigrants every day.
Yes, so. And Lost and Abroad is out on DVDs, so you can check it out. And tell us about your second movie, False Engagement. It came out on the Valentine's Day last year.
Yes, Dallas was very supportive, came out in numbers to support that film. False Engagement, back to the issues we face as immigrants. Sometimes we want to maintain that culture, and not that the partners that we find here are not capable, but sometimes the fear of the Western influence make some Africans go back home to marry. But we're finding out, as you find out in the movie, sometimes it's not it's not the best thing to do. The lesson of the story really is find somebody that you love, and be it here or there, there's nothing wrong with going back home to marry somebody from your roots. It's not absolutely nothing wrong with it. But just be careful because some people come, it becomes a way to escape for some people to now marry somebody that is here in the States just to get out of the country. And this applies to both men and women. And that's where you have false engagement. Again, real stories that, real issues that we face every day in the diaspora. So.
And I think it's time to talk about African Time. So what's the story in that?
Well,
it's your last release.
Yeah, my most recent release is African Time. And if you say that phrase to any African or friends of Africa, they know exactly what you're talking about. It's our tendency to be late in various events. And it's a comedy that I kind of portrayed how silly, for lack of a better word, we look sometimes, procrastinating, trying to get somewhere later than the intended time. So I showed some of the dangers of it, some of the repercussions that comes with late coming, and suggested ways that we can improve as a people. It's a big issue here among Africans, whereby when we set an event to start at say 6 p.m., we end up starting at 9 or 10 p.m. And it's frustrating. There are many Africans that like to keep to time. I must point out, but they thought that nobody will be there when I get there, kind of make them relax, and everybody end up being late. So it's a very big issue. As much as I try to use humor to address it, it's some tough one that we really need to evaluate and get back on track with time. So,
Great.
yeah.
And I've heard you're working on something new, Unequally Created.
Yes.
So what it's about, when is it coming out?
Unequally Created, it was inspired really from the saying that all men are created equal.
So are there any new projects we should know about?
Yes, actually, right now we're working on The Other Tribes. Is a film that addresses tribalism in Africa. There are different countries have different ways of practicing tribalism, but I chose Kenya in this particular instance, whereby there's the big rivalry between the Luos and the Kikuyus is something exemplary. The way I wrote the story, and it's interesting being Nigerian and writing about Kenyan tribalism. We have the same problems in Nigeria, the Yoruba, Hausa, different Igbo, different tribes colliding and disagreeing for one reason or the other. And in the end, it's just to show that we are one people. So that's what The Other Tribes is about. It's starring Benjamin Ochieng. Benjamin is one of the stars in God's Not Dead. So we are excited and looking forward to it. We are hoping to release it in the fall this year. So
Definitely something to look forward to.
that's started.
So you only write, edit, produce, direct, and act in your movies.
Yes.
And you're also a family man. So you must have plenty of free time on your hands. How do you manage to do all that?
Well, time management is the key. And I do all this keeping my full-time work as an IT person. So I come back, I have to make time for the family, and then I still find time to write. The writing side of it really, it's I call it a revelation.
We'll definitely encourage our viewers to check out the movies. And I think you have a website they
Yes.
can go to.
Yes, bigobi.com is the website, and the Twitter, Facebook, Instagram are Bigobi Media. So that's and the YouTube channel is also Bigobi Media. So Bigobi Media and bigobi.com for more information about everything that we are doing, the Black Part. And we have the comedy show called Night to Laugh that we launched last month, and that's a pastime kind of effort that we try to. Africans work very hard, and every month or every other month we want to bring comedians together to help our people laugh and relax and have a good time. So you can find all of that online.
Well, thank you so much for making time for us.
Thank
Mr.
you.
Eke, and
Thank you for having me.
check out Bigobi.com.